Max, let's have an uncomfortable conversation.
Uh-oh.
Because every time we talk about our neighbors to the north in Oklahoma, it makes us
smelliest state in the union.
It makes us feel icky. Icky is the word, right?
Stinkiest place on earth.
Ugh, I don't like this. Is Dave Campbell's Texas football? Texas football. I feel bad that we're going to be talking about Oklahoma. The big news last week, of course, the surprising, one might say stunning news out of Norman, Oklahoma, that Bob Stoops, the longtime coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, is retiring. Has retired. He, as head coach, he stepped down. He's staying on as some sort of like assistant to the athletic director. First of all, I don't know Bob Stoops. I've never talked to him, but I do take him at his word when he says that he's stepping down because now is the right time. It doesn't have anything to do with health. And in kind of talking with people or in listening to other people around who know Bob Stoops, it is more surprising to us, the general public, than it is to those folks who were like, yeah, you know what? He's going to retire. Like, he's going to go out on his own terms.
He's been there a long time.
He's the Big 12 champion. He's going out on top. He feels like he has a guy in Lincoln Riley to take over. Now is the right time. And there's a number of people who've said, yeah, this makes sense. This, it seems weird, but it makes sense.
I mean, Bob Stoops' dad died when he was 54 on the sidelines of a heart attack.
Right.
I'd be quitting too.
And what makes me fun, one of the best tweets I saw about it was somebody said how surprising it is that a really rich 57-year-old guy is retiring. Like, it does make sense when you take it out of the football context, right? It's like, yes, absolutely. He's got more money than God. Like, why wouldn't he retire?
Yeah.
So he is retiring. We'll get into his replacement, Lincoln Riley, in a moment. The numbers, and I tweeted this, the numbers of Bob Stoops against Texas, I don't think the state of Texas is going to be sending him like a Christmas card.
Right.
Bob Stoops straight up dominated the state of Texas.
Yep.
There is one program in Texas that has a 500 record against Bob Stoops. It's Houston. Houston went 1-1 against Bob Stoops. The rest of it, Texas went 7-11. TCU went 2-5. Baylor went 3-15. The overall, Bob Stoops against Texas programs, Texas FBS programs. Texas went 21-63. That is bad. Okay,
Not great, Bob.
Bob Stoops. Well, it's
literally
yes, not great, Bob. 21-63. Bob Stoops. There's no two ways about it. If you're being intellectually honest, Bob Stoops dominated the state of Texas, plain and simple. And there are, by the way, if you retweeted my tweet, I did forget Rice. Rice went 0-1 against Baylor or against Bob Stoops back in 2000. So I did forget one. 21-63. He dominated them.
Yep.
Now the question becomes, what does this mean for teams in Texas? First of all, let's be real that the biggest impact will be on the 4 teams in the Big 12 in Texas that have Oklahoma on the schedule. I don't think it's a stretch to say that it is. I think it is reasonable to expect Oklahoma to be worse under not Bob Stoops than under Bob Stoops.
Right.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, over the next 20 years.
Correct.
Right? The same time, or 18 or whatever it is. You can't expect them to be as good as they've been.
Right. And that is not a knock on Lincoln Riley. That's a knock on people who are not Bob Stoops. Yep. Okay? They are losing one of the best coaches in college football history, really. And so immediately I think you start to look at the teams that they're going to play, and I want to pull up Oklahoma's schedule real quick. I should have had that up. But Oklahoma's schedule, and you start looking at it, and first of all, they're going to play UTEP at home. I don't think it's reasonable to move that move will move UTEP from what we think is a loss to a probable win. I think that stays the same, right? Yep. They're at Baylor, Suddenly, early in the season, maybe if things
Maybe,
break
but
right, but I don't
I
feel comfortable moving
It's
him.
less a criticism of Baylor and more a reality of how much time they have to work on all this. Whereas
Correct.
Lincoln Riley has essentially been a part of the head coaching
Yeah.
staff at Oklahoma for a couple of years.
Mhm.
I think it's more seamless for them.
Right. Second Saturday in October, they'll play Texas. That gets a lot more interesting to me.
Yeah.
You've got 2 first-year head coaches. I think most people, even the most rabid Texas fans,
Yeah.
right? I think they had that marked down as a loss.
Yeah.
This maybe moves into the you never know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never know how those types of things are going to go.
Yeah.
They get Texas Tech at home. I don't feel like Tech is going to go on the road and beat Oklahoma.
Right.
Probably not reasonable. And then they get TCU at home. Again, I think that in Norman they'll probably hold serve
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. The only game that really moves for me is Texas.
Yeah.
That game all of a sudden becomes
Yeah.
a little bit more interesting. It moves from a probable.
Right. Here's a
it
head
moves,
coach.
I would say it moves from likely Oklahoma win to probable Oklahoma.
Right. Here's a head coach who's beaten Oklahoma at a school that
Mm-hmm.
is considered, to have fewer resources. He'll be coming in confident with his new team. Lincoln Riley, it's there's a lot more pressure on him, I feel like.
I would also say that for the state writ large, this is good news because any dip in Oklahoma means recruiting against
Yes.
Oklahoma will be easier.
This is my overwhelming stance, is that the retirement of Bob Stoops, no matter what you think of him, is excellent for the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln Riley may be great and whatever, but it's a smaller percent chance that he can do what Bob did for 18 years against what is more likely, and that it's really hard to do that. And I think it's good news for the state of Texas just to get rid of someone who's been such a pain in the butt
Exactly.
for so long.
On multiple levels, not just on the field.
Right.
But in the recruiting
Yes,
realm
absolutely.
as well.
Bob has been a closer.
He has.
Yes.
He's been a closer, and you look at the long list of Texas kids who have gone up there and thrived under Bob Stoops. Adrian Peterson,
Yeah.
Samaje Perine,
Yep.
Baker Mayfield,
Right.
There's all these guys, D.D. Westbrook,
Yep.
all these guys who have gone up to Oklahoma and thrived.
Yep.
Maybe now there is a chance for Texas teams to hold on to him. So this is good news, even for teams like Texas A&M,
Nothing but
even
good
for
news.
teams like SMU.
Yep. It's
Look.
possible. It's possible Riley could end up being a juggernaut and terrifying and be an even bigger problem, but the odds are he won't be.
I want to ask you a question. Do you think are you going to have an easier time with Oklahoma now that there's a Texan in charge?
Nope.
Lincoln Riley, of course, the
look,
pride of
Baker's
Muleshoe
my
High
boy.
School.
Baker's my boy.
I know.
I've not changed my stance on Oklahoma just because Baker's there.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to
No.
make sure.
It's not about the Sooners. I don't like Oklahoma State. I don't like that stupid state. It smells, and everyone from there stinks.
We're DCTF Live. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com. Talk.